So I wish each one of you a very beautiful, brilliant, pleasant afternoon, and I welcome you all in the IABM Indus Business School premises for the today's event, that is Students Mentorship cum panel discussion. So before starting the session, I would like to, say the IT team to please play the national anthem. I would request everybody to please stand up. For the beautiful relationship, I must say, that is between the industry and the skilled manpower which is required, as well as the institute will get the expertise from the industry. So to start this relation, I would like to invite Dr. Rishikesh sir to give the brief about our institution. Rishikesh sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Rishikesh, working as assistant professor in this institution since June 19. It gives me immense pleasure to actually introduce our institute to you. Most of us, Milind sir might be aware of a lot of other facts because he represents advisory council. So I'll just give you maybe brief about the institution and what kind of activities we plan for our students and the initiatives that we undertake basically to help our students to become employable. So the philosophy of us is basically student for 2 years, leader for life. So we're trying to have the transformation of the students. So in these 2 years of time period, we would like to transform these students to make them leaders. We offer basically PGDM program, which is an AICTE approved program. And the specialization that we offer are basically entrepreneurship, which is a minor specialization. Along with the minor specialization, student can opt for the major specializations. Like marketing is there, finance, human resource management. Along with these, now for this academic year, we are starting with business analytics, ERP, SAP, and supply chain management. So these 3 additional specializations we are looking for. Let me give you brief background about the institution. So IABM Trust basically was registered in the year 1951, but then we are having the 4 generations of legacy in the education. So our first education initiative was Mudoji High School Fulton, which was established in the year 1893. So that was pre-independence era. So our journey starts from that particular 1893. Then later on, we have diversified into different fields. So 1957, we could see Mudoji College Fulton. Then this institution, which is catering to management program, was started in the year 2000. Then we have diversified into CBSE affiliated education, that is school, and engineering college as well. And our recent ventures are into chemical, Arista Chemical and Magnesia Chemical. Some of our accolades that are actually achieved by the institution. Recently, we have been awarded with EduFuture Excellence Award that was given to us for the most emerging marketing management college. So it was given in the year 2021. Again, another award is by Educational Excellence. That is again for leading and most promising business management school in the year 2021. Along with these 2 awards, our rankings, these are visible to you. Basically that we follow for offering PGDM program and for transformation journey. So for any program, management program, we believe that these are the main core pillars of any program that we should imbibe. So basically we have 4 pillars as strong academic foundation. So our faculty are, most of the faculty are doctorate, along with the industrial faculty that we are actually including in BOS, Board of Studies, Advisory Council, and basically to have the current or recent trends that are happening in industry that we could take into our curriculum. So strong academic foundation is one of our pillars. Then we have practical exposure, another very important pillar to transform the student. So practical exposure, like we always say that there is a gap between what we teach, what we see in school, and what is in actually reality. So to bridge this gap, we have practical exposure with the help of maybe SIPs, summer internship programs, WIP, winter internship programs, and live projects. So these basically are trying to give them exposure, practical exposure, what happens in, let's say, corporate. So that kind of exposure we are trying to give to the students. Another is holistic development of the students. So it is basically a transformation wherein we would like to transform students with their personalities, starting from their like rituals, so habits, and basically entire PEP program, that is personality enrichment program, that we run under this holistic development. Then we have another pillar which is very important again, and for this we are meeting, so industry connect. So basically industry connect will help us student obviously to have practical exposure. Along with that, we would get different kinds of opportunities to interact with the corporate for mentorship program or for maybe placement purpose as well. So these inputs basically will help our students to bridge this gap between theory and practice. So industry, so connect, that is also one of the most important pillars. So these are the 4 important pillars that we actually trying to include in our curriculum. This is just a slide about training DNA. So what exactly, how we maybe like advanced pedagogy. So flipped classroom is there, wherein students are expected to prepare, as in go through the content that are already in advance shared with the students, and then they have to come to the class for discussion and for maybe problem solving. So those kinds of flipped classroom or blended learning, wherein a lot of online courses that we offer to the students, maybe EDX, Coursera, and maybe other platforms, other courses are also there. So we're trying to not only have student teaching in classroom, but then through blended learning approach, we are trying to give a lot of inputs and high standard inputs, maybe from Harvard Business School or maybe from MIT. So these kinds of institutions we are trying to get. Again, we have 3-tier mentorship, PEP, that is also we will see. Psychometric assessment and employment assessment module, these are also important aspect of basically the training DNA, because unless and until we understand students, we will not be able to transform them. So SWOT analysis and their understanding of their strengths and weaknesses and their interest areas. So which specialization they should go for or which sector they should choose. So those kinds of inputs that are required for the students, and with the help of co-cubes, so these kinds of organizations we are trying to understand students so that we could reach them at those particular levels so that we can transform them. These are some academic collaborations that we do. So like I mentioned, I was mentioning Harvard Business School Online. So we have done MOU with Harvard Business School Online for business analytics course. So as like recent demand is there for data and data analytics, we could see a lot of trend is there wherein analytics is very much important. So we started with analytics as one of the specialization as well. And these inputs can be given through business, basically HBS School Online. Then we have for finance students, we have tie-up with CISI, which is Chartered Institute for Securities and Investment. So IOC certifications are basically offered to the students of the finance. Then the other collaborations that we could see maybe with SAP Germany. These are for ERP SAP specialization students. So those students who are opting for SAP specialization, for them we are actually giving them this kind of certification. Then other certification that we could see maybe with the help of CRISIL, which is CRISIL is there. Then Harvard University. With Harvard University we have collaboration for leadership program. For MIT we have tie-up for the entrepreneurship program. As entrepreneurship is our minor specialization, we are making them mandatory as one of the specialization. For that we have done tie-up with MIT, and these inputs will be given through the courses of MIT. The other Safe Educate is for supply chain management. IBM again for analytics and Python and those languages. Microsoft is there. Then London School of Digital Business, we have done tie-up with them as well for digital marketing. So these are certifications that I was mentioning. I think I have covered already. So these maybe employment enhancement certifications are offered for specialization students. Those who are looking for maybe like supply chain, they will be having through SAP Educate. For SAP ERP specialization, that will be offered through these. This is just brief slide about PEP, that is a Personality Enrichment Program. So we offer a 3-tier basically personality enrichment program, wherein first year soft skills and managerial skills, maybe through different kinds of activities like MLFL, that is movie, literature and film. So economic times analysis, then business communication, then tier 2 activities for taking care of managerial skills and social skills. Then tier 3 are for entrepreneurial skills. So some of the activities like I mentioned, bankable business plan, Indian business house study. So with the help of them, we are trying to address those set of skills as well. So this is the most important slide that we are here for, basically to have corporate interaction and some of the opportunities through which we are trying to interact with corporate people is basically through maybe these activities. So Bodhan is our guest lecture series with corporates, CXOs, CFOs, then corporate networking platforms, so through which we'll be able to connect with maybe CIS, CII and all those kinds of corporate networking platform. CSR, ISR, that is corporate social responsibility and individual social responsibility. So with the help of NGOs, our students do winter internship with them. So in those winter internship program, they are actually exposed to this social responsibility. Then HR Meet is also there, and obvious industrial visits and live projects. With the help of them as well, we are trying to interact with corporates. And also Samvad is the series, again guest lecture series, wherein our alumni, basically we invite them and we have their sessions as well for our students. So this is just brief about IIBM. Basically this is only to have more interaction with the corporate and trying to build or trying to bridge that gap and trying to build the, let's say, skill sets among the students. So if you have other opportunities as well, definitely we are going to discuss on that. So on those fronts as well, apart from those fronts, if you have some other initiatives that we could suggest and that we could work out, that would be great. So with this, I think I have given you enough background of IIBM, and this is just to make you understand that during the mentorship, what are the students actually, the activities are done for the students, so that accordingly your mentorship or your inputs to the students can be given. I hope there are no questions. Thank you. So I'll hand over now to Neeraj sir for mentorship discussion. Thank you.
Good afternoon, one and all. First of all, thank you very much for accepting our invitation, because I know that for all the corporates, Saturday, Sunday is very crucial, because generally they spend this with their family, and I have but most of the corporates are spending time with their families, and still you all have accepted our invitation and spare some time with us, give us opportunity to share our views, and we're ready to help the institute. So before starting this, I would like to tell you that IIBM is a residential school. For first year, it is compulsory for all the candidates to stay in campus. So students are available here from morning 9 to evening 6. Hostel is in campus only. So we build them on the basis of ethics. Yeah, you might have heard about the winter internship and summer internship, but corporates knows that winter internship is only with the corporates, but it is completely different here because of the view of our trustee and MD Jay sir. He is with this institute and handling corporate relations since last 20 years. You can see that from the inception of the institute, and our winter internship is only with the NGOs, not with the corporates, because we want to tell the students what is the ground reality, what is the necessity for a human being to survive. Money is not the final aim, career is not the final aim, but you must be a human being first. Your ethics should be clear, then you can be a good human being and you can make your career successful. So with this, I would like to add something. First thing I already covered, that we do the winter internship with NGO. Then we know that means the student are just graduate and they are just entering into PGDM. So we have students from Pan India. So most of the students are coming to metro cities because they like the metro cities. So they don't know about the financial management, as well as they sometimes engulf in the other activities, bad habits and all. So as Dr. Rishikesh sir have already covered, that we have a 3-tier mentorship. We have faculties mentors, we have alumni mentors, but we want the corporate to be an active part in this mentorship, because you have already an experience of ground reality, you have already dirtied your hand in a ground reality, you know where the pinch should be taken for the candidate. We don't expect that you should daily communicate with our candidate, but yes, please give some time, some specific time in 15 days or in 1 month of 1 hour bracket. We most welcome you if you'll come down to campus and brief them personally. If it is not possible, then also it's fine, just schedule one video interview with them, because what we have seen is till date for this 22 pass out batch, we have bring around 100 plus companies. Almost 30% students are placed. Most of the companies are in process. So most of the students have a question where they should enter. Now they have 5 companies in line. In which company they should enter? In which sector they should enter? And if the package is low, if we know that at the starting the package may be low, but if the profile is good, if he get a good exposure, then there may be an exponential growth in future. But when faculty or from placement team or the alumni saying this, they sometimes believe, sometimes they don't. But if corporate will say that, yes, I have experience in this field since last 15 years, 20 years, you just go ahead with, out of these 5, go ahead with this. Once you will grab this opportunity, you will have a confidence and you can take it forward. So for this, we expect your input in this mentorship program, where you should, we are allotting 4 to 5 candidates to you. First of all, means after this meet, you have a physical interaction with them. They will brief you about themselves, from which background, educational, parents, everything. And so you will have a little bit idea about the students' background and all. So whenever next time you will schedule an interview, and if they have any problem, I hope that you will solve it in a proper way. Apart from this, we expect that you tell the students about the leadership, teamwork, punctuality, ethics driven, being research and fact oriented, having a helpful nature, give back to society, as well as develop a habit of reading and keeping themselves updated. In our campus, we are not allowing the students to use the mobile phones from 6 to 9. They deposit their mobile phones in academics, and once the classes are over, they can take it back. So we are trying our level best. Sir, I also told you that with the other CRISIL, Google, AIML, most of the certifications we are providing to students to make them updated with the markets. So as far as possible, our IIBM, our management, we are doing our best, but we need your help, so that if you will give your few inputs in that, so it will be a 100% goal-oriented program. So with this note, I hope that everything is clear to all the corporates, means why we have, why we all are gathered here and what is the purpose of this meeting. So first time it's a personal interaction with the students, and after that, as per your convenience, please give time to our students and solve their problem with ground reality. Any questions to any of the corporate? So can we start with our program? Yes.
Not creating them in your own image, but giving them the opportunity to create themselves. A very warm afternoon and a hearty welcome to our respected guests and the students. I am Anmol Tiwari.
And I am Vasundhara Singh Bani.
Students of PGDM Batch 2022, your host and moderator for today's session. We welcome you all to our today's panel discussion on students' mentorship, the responsibility of corporate. Respected guest, may I have the permission to please begin?
It's my pleasure to introduce you to our first panelist, Ms. Smita Narkar ma'am. Ma'am has nearly 13 plus years progressive proven leadership experience in human resource, employee engagement across various levels and functions, employee advocate and design strategies. Currently, ma'am is the head HR at Infinite Uptime. She was the head of human resource at Epicero Incorporation and was also manager of human resource business partner at ETRA. Ma'am has been deputy manager in human resource for Frankie Faber India Private Limited. She was also the assistant manager in human resource for Redney India Technology Private Limited and manager for human resource at Coal Soft Services, now formerly named as Custom Soft Private Limited.
I would now like to introduce the second panelist for the session, Mr. Himanshu Tucker, co-founder of Let's Map It and partner of LocoViz Exclusive India. As Sir is not available today, we have his wife, Ms. Anusha Baduria, to represent on his behalf. Ma'am is a Director Alliance and Partnership with Let's Map It. Ms. Baduria also provides guidance as a startup mentor and is also a nutritionist and a fitness enthusiast. Ms. Baduria is also the alumni of our institute. I would now like to introduce the third panelist for the session, Mr. Milind Mutalik, Chief People's Officer of Accolade Digital Private Limited. Sir has 30 years of experience as an HR professional and 15 years of experience working in the IT industry. Mr. Milind has been honored by the World HRD Congress with the 100 Super HR Achiever Award and the Pune Top HR Leader Award. Sir additionally spent 3 years as Vice President of Human Resources at DBL Foods Limited and 7 years as a Senior Manager at Cognizant India Private Limited.
I would now like to introduce our fourth panelist for this session, Mr. Sanjaya Rasa. Currently, Sir is the President and Chief Executive Officer at Zentech Info Solutions Private Limited. Sir is also its founder and Managing Director. He is also the textile engineer by education along with Masters in Marketing from Jamnalal Bajaj University. He is an industrialist and has recorded major success in all the industries he had established. He was well known in textile and fashion industry during 1996 to 2001, where he has organized 50 fashion shows. He then had a perfume packaging company followed by an IT and software company since 2007.
I would now like to introduce the fifth panelist for the session, Lieutenant Colonel Amit Karolkar. He is a Deputy Vice President HR at AU Small Finance Bank. Sir formerly worked for ACG World as the Head HR and Admin and also with Border Roads Organization as DGM HR and Operations and has over 20 years of industry experience.
I would now like to introduce our sixth panelist for this session, Mr. Srinivas Kanolkar, sir. Currently, Sir is the National Sales Head for Banks and National Distributors at Mere Asset Investment Managers, India Private Limited. Sir was also the Assistant Manager for Product Development and Marketing at SBI Funds Management Private Limited, where he dealt with the systematic gathering of data, assimilation and depiction of information. Sir was also Officer in Operations at HDFC Standard Life Insurance Company Limited.
I would now like to introduce the seventh panelist for the session, Mr. Amol Deshpande, Senior Manager HR with Trump India. Sir has more than 13 years of experience in the field of HR. Mr. Deshpande started his journey with Whirlpool of India as an executive for about 2 years. Sir has been associated with various big companies like Videocon Consumer Durables, Kalyani Forge, Kalyani Studio as a HR manager.
I would now like to introduce our eighth panelist for this session, Mr. Prashant Kathole, sir. Currently, sir is the director at Ecstatic Software Technologies Private Limited. Sir possesses interest in business administration. Sir gets happy to see talent in rural India and decided to provide resources for the same. Sir is also involved in corporate social responsibility activities. Sir completed Bachelor's of Engineering in Electronics and Telecommunications from Anuradha Engineering College, Chikhli.
I would now like to introduce our ninth panelist for the session, Mr. Rahul Mali, Academy Manager at Enrichment Fasters India Private Limited. Sir has more than 15 years of experience in the corporate world. Mr. Mali has been associated with Sigma Electric Manufacturing Corporation as a manager, training and HR. Sir has also given a major contribution while he was associate with Gestemp as assistant manager, training and development for 4 years.
I would now like to introduce our 10th panelist for this session, Mr. Shachin Joshi, sir. Sir has led a team of more than 35 IT professionals. He has been responsible for local and global application development and support within Atlas Copco Compressor Technique Division. Mr. Joshi has strong business process knowledge within sales and marketing and manufacturing domain. Currently, Sir is the business line manager at Atlas Copco India Limited. He has also been IT delivery manager, application support, customer relationship management and IT manager, IT project manager at Atlas Copco.
I would now like to introduce our 11th panelist for the session, Mr. Vikas Gogia, General Manager at Apex Visas Immigrations and Career Consultancy Private Limited. Sir has over 9 years of experience and has got intensive training on country-specific immigration rules and regulations. With Mr. Gogia, we have Mr. Indraneel Shimpi, Senior Manager at Apex Visas, and Sir has over 15 years of experience in the field of overseas education. Sir has expertise in dealing with complicated and strategic concerns of the students.
I would now like to introduce our 12th panelist for this session, Mr. Vivek Bade, sir. Currently, Sir is the Credit and Account Manager at Bank of India and is also Business Consultant at Ecstasy Software Technology Private Limited. Sir has been Marketing Executive for Government Business Department at Bank of India. Sir is also the Ex-Business Development Manager at LIC of India.
I would now like to introduce our 13th panelist for the session, Mr. Yogesh Kumar Vaidya, who is currently associated as a Principal Engineer at Technimont Private Limited. Sir has more than 17 years of experience in the field of management. Mr. Vaidya has been previously associated with Thermax Limited as an Assistant Manager. Sir has also given a major contribution for 7 years in Aquatech System Asia Private Limited as a Deputy Manager.
Now I would like to request Professor Shyam Mishra sir to take the panel discussion further.
Hello. Thank you, students. So I guess this is the warm welcome and wonderful welcome you have given to all the esteemed guests. So, I'm audible, right? The mic is working well. Can we have the cordless mic also for the guests? So, you learn the things, you don't learn to walk by following the rules. You learn it by doing and by falling over, right? So this is the famous quotation given by Mr. Richard Branson, the CEO and founder of Virgin Brand. With this beautiful saying, I would like to start the today's panel discussion. We already have discussed several things about it as before this, this gathering. So not taking much time, so we'll start with the question, because I guess the academic part about the mentorship program, as we know, the topic is the students' mentorship, the responsibility of corporate. So we have discussed the academic portion, even Poonam ma'am has put some light over it, Tira sir has given some idea about it. Now we are very keen to listen the corporate point of view about this students' mentorship program. So the first question is the open question. So anybody, can answer the question, that is, according to the corporate point of view, what is the requirement of that student mentorship program, and what is actually, or what are the benefits that the corporate would get after that program? So anybody can.
Good afternoon, students. I would say thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak around. I'll just introduce myself. I'm Sanjaya Rasa. Am I audible? Okay. Am I audible to all? Okay. I'll just take a basic steps, and I'll go on talking on more on hypothetical. I will go more on fundamental basics, which I think that's an easy way to connect to the kids, the young generation. When you say student mentor program, the first thing I would like to understand from the people, what made you join PGDAP? So you would have thought something, okay, while joining PGDBM. Then student mentorship, of course, you have something in mind. You want to achieve something. To achieve something, you need to have certain case studies, certain success stories to understand. And if you have, and keep reading success stories, when you have some success stories in place, it will inspire you to understand what exactly you can do, what exactly you can achieve. We have regularly story coming in. I was just discussing with someone in our panel, classic example of Naika Falguni Nayyar. You all have studied. Classic example of Paytm, Vishal Shekhar Sharma, you have studied. They come from a basic, they've done very basics, and they've grown up to the big. I think you guys are doing amazingly well. I have been taking sessions to other institutes, and I've seen that the way you guys are organizing, you are doing superb. And I think this same way, once we have one-on-one interactions, one-on-one things, then we can share more ideas. We understand you, we share more ideas of it. That's what.
Thank you very much, sir. So anybody would like to add something on it?
Please.
Good afternoon. First of all, it feels like a reverse Swayamvar today, right? I think this program what it's going to do to the corporate. Most of the times when we end up selecting students from the placements, most of the students leave in 2 years, right? It's a pain area of corporate. And most of the times it happens because the student comes to that, he's selected that profile, he's come to that corporate with a different thought in mind, and then ends up not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. A program like this, where probably you will hear first-hand experiences from the corporates, from your mentors, that what is it that we look for when we hire people, right? Probably will help you choose the right profession, choose the right corporate, and spend more time, because eventually when you're going to job hunt in 2 years, in 2 years, let me tell you, you wouldn't have learned anything. It takes a good 3-4 year cycle, because markets have cycle, each industry has a different cycle. Spending 4 years in that makes you understand what's happening with that industry, that cycle, so that you're ready and you would have seen more time and you would have actually done some work before you move on to the next one. So I think this is commendable to the team which has put up this program in place. And even we are going to learn from you guys, right? That, what are you looking forward from today's organizations when you're going to select them? So I think it's going to be two-way.
That's great.
To put in one word, so typically when we are in the industry, right, so we do also welcome all of new joiners, right? In the similar way, Institute has already started the PIPO. So what does it stands for? Positive input, it gives you positive output, right? So basically this is the best start, right? When we studied MBA, we never had such kind of occasions, right? Be it with the Bombay University. I remember in the 4th semester as well, we never had this kind of opportunity. So you are getting a best opportunity and the best forum to kindly make a use of it in the best way. I mean, the second aspect, when we interview especially the youngsters, right? So we understand that some of the soft skills which are missing, just because we don't utilize them on a day-to-day basis. So the other aspects in terms of competencies, that IQ level, right? So some of the roles which is required, the intelligent quotient, right? For example, I came from an IoT background, right? So when we hire a data scientist or data analyst, right? So you know the theoretical concept, but how to implement those in a practical situation? If you start, as you rightly said, some of the case studies that you can start implementing while doing the conceptual knowledge in terms of analytics. So I just thought of to put that PIPO approach. Yeah, thank you.
That's great. Amit sir, you would like to add something, because your army background would help the students as well.
Good afternoon, kids. I'm Colonel Amit Karulkar. Since you asked me a question, Sham Saab, about the army days, so the induction was pretty simple for new kids. It was training over 1.5 years to 4 years. It was literally slogging hard and learning the ropes the hard way. But these kids, they're special, and they've grown up in a special way. So earlier during lunch, we were talking about how these kids have got choice in everything they do, and how they have got comfort. They have love from helicopter parents who look after their every need. And once they join industry, things change overnight, right? We do have mentors, industry mentors. We do have mentor-mentee relationships in corporate. We do look after these new kids, these interns or apprentices or management trainees in a special way. But still that loving touch is missing. Yeah. But now when we interact with them before they join us, maybe we'll be able to develop those relationships with those special 5 or 6 kids we are all allotted with. And maybe we can give them some gyan about industry. They may believe it, they may not believe it, but they may get it, the truth from the horse's mouth. If we are fairly open with them and transparent with them, they will learn the ropes from us. What we can actually also work on is to build leadership skills in them, because they learn management here. But what works in the big bad world outside is leadership. It's your soft skills, your people skills. It's how you adapt to new cultures, how you are in ease and adjust yourself to diverse and changing words. What we popularly call now is the VUCA word. So they have to adapt to those changing environments too, and not give up at the very first opportunity they get, or the very first lashing they get from their boss after some patience of about 3 or 4 months. So that attrition is very saddening to me when I see bright kids giving up too early. So what they have to do is build up their spirits, build up their courage, and learn to actually take responsibility and deliver. Easier said than done, and this journey is difficult, but we as mentors would like to actually help you in understanding this journey through our personal experiences. Yeah, and this is a wonderful program. I'm eagerly looking forward to participate and make this a success.
That's so great, so nice of you, sir. You rightly quoted that once they join the organization, there will be the paradigm shift, complete paradigm shift. And so the second question is related to the same. I mean, what has actually been your plan? It is a bit technical, because when we say technical, it means we should know all the steps. So what is actually your plan to make the students, I mean the mentee, to be the industry ready in that span of 1 to 2 years? So if anybody can means throw some light on that plan, because someday you were the student, right? So you know the mentality of, I mean, the mindset of the students. So what is actually the plan of, changing that mindset from students' mindset to the corporate mindset? So I mean, a little bit idea about this. Yes, sir.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Vikas Gogia. I was really happy when they said 9 years of experience. Technically, it's 16 years. So I felt very young. तो मुझे लगा कि बच्चे बोलेंगे कि ये तो बड़े हुए ही नहीं है, तो अभी कहाँ मुझे सिखाएंगे. So I would just want to add one point here, what we all are facing in the industry, and I think most of the points have been covered. The practical part is we don't see the openness. See, basically when we were getting into the corporate and job, so of course it was very rightly said, we were trying to build up our own skills first, rather than getting into the leadership. Yes, we all have the role models, and we see the role model. It is really fascinating to see the cabin of a boss, wonderful AC, and he's sitting alone. But at the same time, you need to understand the journey the person has built up to reach there. Basically, what we see is the rosy picture of him sitting there. We don't see the struggle and the things how the person has reached there. So those struggles and those things are basically him or any person at this level being very open to the new world. I said openness in the sense, when we come out of the college and when we get into the corporate world or any job or anything, the first thing and the key factor for all of us is to start getting adapted to the culture you are getting into. Of course, we all have studied a lot. We have our family backgrounds, we have our college background, and our mentors taught us a lot of things. But what happens is when we enter into a new world, any company, first and foremost thing for any person is to learn how they are accepting people, what is the culture of that organization. So the sooner you get adapted or get yourself open to that culture of the organization, the easy it would be for you to survive and actually get going with the future thing. The problem what people face or people have in the sense the students have, is maybe what we have read, what we have, the thought process what we have. We just try to become the leaders from day one. Sir, ye color, I think this could be the better thing. I mean, we don't understand the timelines which the seniors and the corporate has built up to do certain things. So that is what is my suggestion to everyone. First, accept, get adapted to the culture we are entering into, and first, once you get adjusted, then you want to bring the change. Of course, you bring the change. We are welcoming, and I think with this mentorship program, it will help both of us. We need to understand their psyche, because lot many youngsters are there, and of course, the organizations like us, we need new thought process. We struggle day in and out, but what we get is whatever experience we have and whatever the experience our peers have. But I think the new generation which comes, they come with the open mindset. They come with something new, some unique strategy and planning, which definitely helps the organization to go forward. So that is basically a collaboration for all of us together, which will help both the generations to work together for the future. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just want to add something here. I think it's very important points he just made, that I think we should all watch our times or the times where we're spending our times, right, in these 2 years. Because whatever efforts this team and the whole team of the college is putting forward, I think at the student level sometimes, and because we could get our experiences back, that sometimes we are not serious at this particular age. And we really don't know the harsh realities of the sort of corporates we work with, and then the journeys people take to reach somewhere else. And I asked during my session also, I asked what they want to be, and many of times they say, I want to be a manager, or sort of. Somebody said, see you. And that's perfectly right. There is no wrong in that, right? But we need to understand there are gradual steps in the industry. When you actually enter to the industry, there are gradual steps, and one has to have to take those gradual steps. But it's important that how you counting your time, how you running around your time, where you spending your time. the social media is, we know how difficult it is to keep ourselves away from that particular thing. But I think what we do on the social media is important, and what we're learning from the social media platforms, it's important for us.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, sir.
Hello, my name is Shachin Joshi. I am working for Atlas Copco almost close to 25 years. Somebody will say, what the hell are you doing? 25 years, one company. Pff, not suitable for the industry. That could be one thought. But the other thing is, which I could see the kind of footprint I have put it in Atlas Copco. I can walk onto any VP, any GM, and say whatever I feel like saying, no argument. So when we are looking at industry and in terms of when you are trying to build your career, and I think most of you are doing MBA, and if you are thinking that AIM stands for manager, probably, I think you should be first getting out of this imagination or imagining power. When you say you want to become a manager, probably you need to manage yourself well in shape, and then people will look at you being a good manager. I mean, honestly, looking at the qualification what these guys are having, I might be the lowest one in terms of my qualification, might be, but I'm leading a team which is much more qualified than me. Good, bad, team knows. But that's what basically industry looks into, that who are you? What are you putting it forward towards your members, team players, being a team player? We call it as an individual contributor. I think that's a very prominent term which is being talked about in industry. And that's the first role which you all will have to take it up, being an individual contributor, and then you will start contributing. The more you contribute, your individuality will start becoming bigger and bigger. I'm not talking philosophical, that's a practical life which I've seen. And that's where I would rather say these programs and the kind of mentorships or the association what we are talking about, rather than we are saying we are great, the whole idea, if I still look at from a very typical perspective, is that you should understand that what are the things which we have learned over a period of time, and the whole idea is to then pass it on to you, not to copy, because if we have done something bad, we don't want you to do that. For sure, we want you to learn out of that what went wrong, and then how you can overcome to become good. That's the only thing which I would like to add.
That's so great, sir. So we are moving towards the next question, I guess. So the next question is, sir, when some fresher join any organization, so that is the question by the students also I got in the morning time, that what is actually that most important skill that corporate is looking that, yes, if some fresher is coming to the corporate, he must know that skill. So can you please, yeah sir.
I think if I take a chance to talk about on behalf of you, the most important skill what you should have is attitude. If you do not have an attitude saying that you would like to learn, and again don't take me wrong, doing MBA or doing any course or any post-graduation of course is the most prestigious thing, but if you are walking in the cabin saying that I am an MBA person, fine, the door will be still open for you to get out. I hope I'm not really exaggerating, but that's how people see you when you are walking into the cabin. We always say that the person can be groomed by giving a training, but unfortunately there are no courses, at least to my knowledge, where the attitude can be built. I think that's the crux of the story.
One of the things which I say is industry today is not accepting freshers. Industry says that you be ready prior coming to us, because the world is fast and we want ready to run kind of a resources. So you need to first of all think through, are you ready before joining that organization? Are you well studied about that organization? What are the kind of strategic aspects that organization has? Nobody is ready to reinvest on you for any of the training. That's the reality of the life. So what does fresher wants? That they should not be called as a fresher on the day one is something which is expected by the corporate as per me.
That's great. Yes, sir.
I would rather telling this because my company, I hire a lot of freshers. I'll just brief, and a lot of internships comes to me. I mean, there are almost, I think right now almost 30 people are doing internship in my company. So I would share my experience where what lacks. Okay, what happens is when we give an opportunity to freshers, whether they do internships or whether they come as a freshers, the lack of dedication is a big problem. We don't see. And second thing, lack of interest in subject. You want to be an IT. I'm a pure IT company. Okay, so what I see as a miss, the person has come to me for an internship. The student or the child who has come to me for an internship is not interested in his own topic, and his ultimate objective is to complete the project report and take the sign off. That's been really not acceptable. And what happens is then they leave in between and then they come at the last minute and they say, sir, mera ye project khatam karne ka hai. This is what I am giving you on platform experience. This is what we face. We are here as a corporate or as a company. I have a company of people, 210 people working with me. Okay, plus we don't count freshers and interns in our company. But this is what we severely face. We hire them, we train them, rightly said by Srinivas. When we train them, student is ready in 2 years, he wants to jump off. And that's the severe pain in any corporates. I have quite a senior HR here and they can be a very good explain that what to train some person, what we feel, what we face. So again, if I connect to my first question, you should know what exactly you have to do. Unless you are clear with your inner strength, I'll give you a very classic case study. I had a person who has come for data analytics project because data science or machine learning and data analytics sounds very fancy word. बोलता है सर मेरे को data science करने का है. I'll talk to him very fundamental language. Okay. मेरे को data science करने का और मैं उधर से course करके आया data science का, मेरे को I need an internship. Fair enough, come over. He doesn't know the meaning of data extraction. What is data extraction? And he wants to do the DTs. When I go by his, then we put up our HR in place, understand his strength, what he wants to, and we really do that, not because they've come from college, what we have got to do. We really put our HR that what exactly, if we are getting some good resource, let's hire, we can hire him in future, he can be our assets, because in service industry, our assets are our employees. We do not have machines. We create assets by resources. Okay? So HR says, sir, वो तो designer का बच्चा है, उसको UI UX करना कहाँ, वो data science में कर रहा है. So it's a problem. But objective of his is, because वो 2 साल में UI UX will earn 18 lakh rupees a month or 15 lakh rupees a year, 2-3 साल में उसको salary मिलने वाला है, and UI UX को नहीं मिलता है. So objective is not the course, objective is money. And there you lose. So that's maybe an early raiser, but at a later stage that becomes a big loser. This is what I am sharing my experience with.
If I can just add on to that, especially on the one which was mentioned about attitude, right? So when we get your CVs, and let's be honest, your CVs are going to be 1 page of extracurricular activities, right? By the time you finish your MBA program and they will come for it. That extracurricular activities, when you join the office, they go missing, right? We don't see them interacting with other teams. We don't see them taking active involvement in other things. So when the question comes attitude, where does it come from? It's that ability what you showed here. On day one, you're not a fresher, you're an employee. Meter चालू हो जाता है, right? So when the person you've been assigned to, he starts looking at you, he says, why does the frustration comes in that 3-4 month कि इसको सब बोल रहे कुछ response ही नहीं आता है? Because what you did here and what you were good at doing here, suddenly when you enter the environment and you don't see your peer set there and you only see other people there, sometimes people get bogged down, right? And that's something which should not happen, and probably that's one of the reason and one of the things that we'll try to do is to give you some inputs of how that should not happen, because on day one you are an employee and then you are responsible for the final output what the organization will put ahead.
Yes, sir.
Actually, when I joined the company first time, and that time my boss asked, I asked me, where is my seat? The boss told me, do it yourself. Check it yourself. I don't know anything. So you should be ready for that.
Hello, good afternoon. You have to do internship very seriously, because बहुत से स्टूडेंट्स क्या रहते हैं, दे आर नॉट सीरियस, और कुछ बहुत पोलाइट और सीरियस रहते हैं. मैं एग्जांपल देता हूँ मेरे ही ब्रदर इन लॉ का. ही हैज़ डन हिज MBA फ्रॉम IIM इंदौर, एंड उसका सेकंड ईयर फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर चल रहा था. तो 2.5 मंथ का इंटर्नशिप था उसका. तो एट लास्ट डे दे टुक देयर इंटरव्यूज़, जो भी इंटर्नशिप के बच्चे थे, अराउंड 25 स्टूडेंट्स थे. वो कुछ ऐसा प्लान नहीं था, बट जब उन्होंने उसका इंटरव्यू लिया, ही इज़ एक्चुअली वेरी पोलाइट और होशियार भी बहुत है. तो लास्ट डे उसका सिलेक्शन हो गया. डिग्री कंप्लीट होने को टाइम ही था. ही गॉट प्री प्लेसमेंट ऑफर ऑफ 19 लाख. तो ही वॉज वेरी सीरियस. तो इसलिए बोलता हूँ मैं कि इंटर्नशिप जो है बहुत सिंसियरली करना है आपको. डोंट हैव एनी ईगो. अगर आपके पास ईगो वगैरह है तो यू विल नॉट गेट गुड रिस्पॉन्स फ्रॉम कॉर्पोरेट. ओके.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So what I feel, my name is Rahul. I am an academy manager. If you are talking about last year number of candidates what I have selected for my organization is in 90s. 90 to be more precise, 97 candidates I have selected. Those are freshers. Those are having various qualification like BE, diploma, ITI, and some MCOM students. Those are selected. The quality what I am looking for into the candidate is very simple. As you have spent almost 3 years in your graduation, so you should be very clear with your graduation concepts. First thing. Second thing is some behavioral aspect, because it is, I read it somewhere. People are selected on technical front and fired because of their behavioral front. You should have your behavioral qualities, it should be very high. So what it comes, so your communication, your attitude, what he rightly said, positive approach to any of the problem. I can't do, don't say this, right? I will share you one incident. Day before yesterday, I had a final allocation of the departments for one of my student, for one of the intern in fact, who has spent 1 year time, and I allocated him a metal department. So he said, I am not interested. I said, there is a business requirement, there is an opportunity, there is a vacancy in that particular department. You are a best fit person because you work with the organization for 1 year. Company has understood what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. On that basis, this particular department is been allocated. So, very rare chances like department will change. He understood to me because I am his mentor. Next day he came with me, sir, कुछ change हो सकता है क्या? I said, it's very difficult. Yesterday he approached me with a resignation and he left. For 1 month notice, he said, I will be serving 1 month notice, and he is. So this is technically he is very sound. He is diploma, he is B, technically very sound. Talk about the behavioral front. So what I want you to develop over a period of 2 years is what your behavioral front. Very important aspect what you should have, the quality in fact, you should ask WH questions. When you go to the industry, whenever you do SIP, whenever you do any sort of projects, ask WH question. You know, like in quality also, quality department, whenever there is a customer complaint, we ask WH question. Why this problem? 3P 5A named one concept is there. When you ask WH questions to any of the problem, after asking 5 why questions, you will reach to the root cause of the problem. And you will solve, you will get the answer of this thing. So what I feel is, instead of looking what quality company is asking for, what I feel is, you start working on your SWOT analysis. And there is nothing like everybody, I still remember one quote. Every expert was once a beginner. राइट? जो भी आज जिसको भी हम बेंचमार्क के लिए देखते हैं, एवरी एक्सपर्ट वाज वन फाइन डे ही हैज स्टार्टेड हिज एक्टिविटीज एंड नाउ ही इज टू हुम वी आर ट्रीटिंग हिज एज अ एक्सपर्ट. So make yourself analysis, understand you are CEO of your own life, right? These are famous quotes what we do have. We have to understand, we have to read, and we have to read the meaning of it, not the words. So what I feel is the quality what you're looking for is start working on yourself. Read number of books, make analysis, write down certain quotes, right? So that particular quote will help you out to motivate whenever there are certain downfall in your life. So what I feel strongly here is over a period of 2 years, whatsoever the subjects you are having, study them thoroughly. Marks are not important. But I am not saying like fail ho jao. You should have good some sufficient, like in my organization minimum 65% marks are required. So minimum 65% to mark chahiye. I am not saying marks are not important. They are important, but to some extent. Knowledge is important. So you should possess your knowledge, build certain activities, and then everybody loves cricket, right? वो out क्यों हुआ? He was not sticking to his basics. So what are basics for you? Try to understand. Stick to the basics. Basic in the sense, basic fundamental things what we should aware of. यहाँ पे everyone is working with either the industry. Ask them, Excel आपके यहाँ पे चलता है क्या? Basic Excel लगता है आपकी कंपनी में? Everybody works on Excel, right? So this is a time where you should spend your time in learning Excel. उधर जाने के बाद ये sum का formula कैसे लगाना? If you will ask to your manager, sorry, you will be not entertained. So this is a time where you have to sharpen your skills, build certain new skills. So this is what you should work for next 2 years. Thank you.
I think we all have got great opportunity here to scare you. Don't get scared, it is not so difficult. Okay?
So now the time for the students to ask question. We'll take 4-5 questions from the students. Anybody would like to ask the question? Raise your hand. Yes, Diksha.
A very good afternoon to everyone. I am Diksha Gaikwad from Singrauli, Madhya Pradesh. My first question would be, what are the professional development qualities a corporate is looking for current scenario, like pandemic came, then the current scenario, things are getting normal. So what are the professional qualities a student freshie should have in his or her life, that basic implementation, which right now I think sir has also pointed out, but what are the other things which we should take from the institute to gain up in this field?
Yeah.
You can be seated. Thank you. It's a very important question. And why I'm saying that is we've gone through a period of 2 years of pandemic. Appears like we are coming out of it, but the world may not be. We're hearing more variants coming out, maybe lockdowns again, who knows. So it's very much possible that by the time you actually enter the corporate world, the way it worked, like that question that, where is my seat? There may not be any seat anymore. There may not be any physical office anymore. Right? So probably your college days before you came here, a lot of your studies you did online. Now start thinking that if I need to work online, what I need to do. And I think most of you have been doing it, so it's not difficult, like you said. Answers can either scare you or can energize you. It's up to you, how do you take it. But that's a harsh reality. Let's be honest that world could move to an hybrid model of work where sometimes you come to office, most of the times you don't. So that's one thing where colleges today, institutes today, maybe the previous batch, if not this batch, actually went through a whole year of, schooling from home, studying from home. Can they take out the benefits of that how they could actually enter their corporate life by doing that? Yes, it's important that you come to work, and there are some things that how do you otherwise learn about the ethos of the company? That's needed a little bit, that you spend time with the seniors, you understand what's the culture of the organization. But in reality, it could be that probably on day one, you may be accepting that I have joined this company, but I'm sitting at home. Or you have to go straight to the calls and come back and report. So take the learnings from what's happening right now. If you're at home and if you're learning, that probably it could be same as on execution bit later.
Okay, thank you, sir, for the wonderful answer.
I wanted to add 2 points here.
Yes.
So, adding to his points, I feel you should learn how to connect, how to collaborate, how to work collaboratively amongst the different colleagues, right? So you maybe have the fair idea to work with someone, right? But some unknown person, it has been asked to approach to that person. You should learn how do I network myself? How do I have a different connects, right? Apart from. So collaborative approach among the cross-functional teams, which is very important during the hybrid work environment, as well as, as you said, e-learning environment, right? Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, ma'am. So, yeah, so Diksha, after Diksha, anybody would like to ask? Yes, that's it.
Good afternoon. So my question is, my name is Komal Tiwari. I belongs to Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. What was your expectations from your career when you was of our age? At your 20s, I guess.
You people are more smarter than us. That's it. Also, the kind of opportunity this generation has, obviously, when I would say more than a choice, it was whatever was available, we took it. Today, as he said, somebody being allotted some department and can leave. There's also a reason because there is opportunity. Okay, somebody leaving us in 2 years because they have opportunity. That was not the complete scenario or a context at that point of a time. So people have started. I would say we have started wherever it is available, and you go ahead and make your career further. Yeah. Anybody else would like? Yep.
Just to answer your question, with my experience, when I opted for the army, I got commissioned in the army. I was really not looking for money for sure. It was izzat, it was respect. That is what I was looking for, and I got it. And I did a mentorship program. They call it the National Cadet Corps, that's the NCC, and where I could interact with defense officers, with JCOs, and I could actually get a glimpse into their lives, into their professional lives. So kids, if you are trying to learn from our experiences, they are dated, yeah. And maybe, I don't know how many people here would like to join the forces. Definitely would like to go for big four consultants and earn fat salaries. But still, izzat is what you should look for, which I looked for. Money, of course, definitely is important. And also one important thing is work-life balance, which they really ensure that you have that in the army, or in the Air Force, in the Navy. But in the corporate world, you'll have to find it yourself, right? And coming back to the previous question where you had asked that how do you prepare yourself professionally? You should be able to switch between your personal life and your work life very easily. And most of us did that during the pandemic when we were working from home. We were pitching it with housework as well as working. And we were working long extended hours. So our timings blurred, our office timings and our personal life timings, they really blurred. So you should get used to that of actually adjusting yourself to different environments, whether you're working at home or in office, or a mix of both in a hybrid environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. So good afternoon, everyone. This is Anusha. I am representing Let's Map It, though. But yes, as being a part of IIEBM, if you have heard that I have been a part of IIEBM, and my batch has seen the transformation, like from where we were in SB Road and we came here, and the transition was different. And coming to that question, what we were expecting. If I talk about myself, if I will talk about my story someday, it will be very confusing because I was so confused about things. And after coming to IIEBM, the first thing was, Jay sir, I remember he guided me that he told me about OS2I. That point of time, this recruitment process outsourcing was on boom. So he was the one, he said that this is on boom, you should take it. And that's it, because I had no idea what to do. Okay, so when it comes to expectations, the one thing I needed, a job that pays me at the end of the month, right? So that was the thing. But when it comes to expectation, my expectation was money. Yes, I was open to learn. Fortunately, I kept getting good mentors, good managers, kept getting promoted and things like that. But after 10 years, then I was like, do I really want to do this? Then things changed. And now today I am running 2 businesses and one is in the process, right? And people say, how do you do that? It just happens. Because I did not want, after 10 years I realized, okay, this recruitment is not something I want to do my entire life. Because there came a phase, expectation was different. Imagine, when I started, I really wanted to be the VP of the company or director of the company and wanted to have a team of like maybe 100 people. But after 8 years, it was not something I wanted. Now I'm super happy with the kind of change, the kind of value I'm adding to people's life in terms of my nutrition on fitness, or let's map it like alliances and partnership, collaborating with agencies and all. It's completely different. So when it comes to expectations, yes, you are allowed to have certain expectations, but be open to change. Just keep that in mind. The real world is not going to be the same how you see it, because see, we all have our own personalities, right? Our realities are different. So the person you are going to talk to, that person's reality about you is going to be different. So be open and I was not open to change. I had ego, I never used to talk, I never asked questions, and that I think I failed also sometimes because of that. So be ready that there are going to be things which will not be what you expect, how you expect them to be, but they will be there to teach you something. And that will add you very, very, if I look back now, Jay sir has scolded me. I have cried outside his office. I have to sit down and cry, okay, Jay sir said this to me. But today when I look back, those things added to what I am today. It may be communications. It could be, I never liked my manager, but I always attended the training. Because working in that one company taught me, I'll tell you what, like the written communication skill, how to write emails, how to format resumes. And it made me so organized today that my husband gets irritated with me. Right? So there are skills you are going to learn, but just be open to one thing, that whatever you are going to expect, you will not get the same thing. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
I just want to second whatever just she said and what Milind sir also said. We are not here to scare you, but I think it's very important what you should just respect right now what exactly the college, your parents and you yourself doing for yourself is going to pay to you. That's it. This is just an experience. Probably we also learned through the facts and whatever journey we took in our careers, and we learned. We don't want you to fail somewhere in the early stage of your career, and that's the reason probably whatever efforts college is taking today, whatever this program of mentor-mentee is going to happen is going to ensure that you should not fail in your journey of life, because probably something what we learn, we will ensure that we will give positive things to you, and then you would be a positive person outside from this college. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
So don't worry, I'm from Jabalpur. First job, and after the interview, I just thought job mil jaye. Okay? When she spoke about the salary, I said, ma'am, job mil gayi na? She said, हाँ, salary ये रहेगी. I said, job mil gayi na? I said, okay, fine. So that's what I think everybody would agree, that when we start our journey, we should be open to what we get, and gradually we learn. And as sir rightly said, so we can just change the word from failures to learning. We all have failed, we still fail. I believe maybe yesterday I could have just failed in one of the tasks. But if we just replace the word of failure from learning, I think it will become more fascinating, more motivating for all of us. That's the thing which we should add in our life, and it will be good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So now we are going to take the last question, okay, from the students. So anybody would like to? Acha. Wait a minute. Sir will ask one question. Yes, sir. Okay. Anybody from this side? Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Mohit from Gujarat. Sir, my question is that what is the role of corporate to build the future leaders? How corporate builds the future leader of our countries?
Nobody build future leader. Future leader is built by individual. Corporate never build future leader. You have to be a corporate. You have to build individual. That's.
I'll just add up. Some of the corporates do have, they identify the high potential people. They try and run the programs for high potential. And also, in my knowledge, Hindustan Lever is such a company where they have not appointing the particular level manager onwards from outside. They ensure that they promote the people from inside only to that position. So that is the way inside the corporation you can make the leaders, but outside it's a different world. If you talk about political leaders or others, corporate doesn't help there. They come in from different places. Yeah. But corporate does have these processes wherever the organized corporates are trying to do it. Everybody wants to do it, actually, to have a leaders in their own way. Yep.
Actually, we have.
And one more point I just want to add up. Hindustan Lever is one more company which has got the process known as reverse mentoring, wherein the youngsters are supposed to come back and teach some of the senior folks how the technology works and what are the buzzwords around today. Maybe some slangs also.
Okay. So he's from Gujarat, and Gujarat is somehow having the mindset of business, business mindset. So I guess the caution bit more precisely framed. So now here, I guess I would like to invite Neeraj sir to take the session further. Yes, sir, please.
Hello. Am I audible to all? Yes, thank you. So now we are concluding our session here, because if we will continue, I think that today till 8 or 10, I don't think that your questions will be over, but everyone have spared their family time for you. So please say thank you to all the dignitaries available here who have spent their holiday for you, and they came here personally. And from management side, I would like to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone. As well as I would like to add one thing over here, because the discussion was excellent, discussion was very interesting. And Amit sir from Defense is here. So I would like to tell you one thing, that means when I listened to this thing, I was surprised. My brother served for 20 years in Indian Navy. So one day I asked my brother, so you are going today late, so there will be a late mark in your organization, right? So he said, what is mean by late mark? I told him that means you will punch late now. By 10 minutes, if you will be late by 10 minutes, though, there will be a salary cut. So he said, what is mean by biometric? I said, there should be biometric, no, means your attendance is there. So he said, no, in defense we don't have biometric. Amit sir, is it right? Absolutely. So in the defense only you will see there is no any biometric, but still all are present at a time. Okay, there will be no any delay. So you can see the discipline in army, and hats up to the works of the defense, the service they are providing to the country, discipline, and really they deserve the respect. So with this, I would like to conclude here. Okay, after that, sir, all corporate have a tea break in the same group photo. Yes. Once we will have a group photo for with all the mentors, and then we will have a tea break, and then we will allot you the mentors. Then take your time and discuss with the mentors, and then it's the end of the session. Thank you everyone.
I'll just like ma'am for coming, spending your time, and I'll urge all of you, you have great people to guide you. Make the most of it, because they're sparing their valuable time with all of you. Learn from them, because maybe everyone doesn't get this opportunity. You people have got this opportunity. Use them, learn from them, gain from their wisdom, gain from their hands-on experiences. They're great people. They've been associated. Milind sir, of course, is one of the old pillars of this institute. So he's really helped in a very big way. So his contributions here, and of course all the members who are on the panel now, their contributions have helped this institute reach where we are, helped our students do very well and become a great success in the corporate world. Thank you so much, sirs and ma'ams, and I'll seek your involvement and assistance always. Thank you so much.